It's 5:20 in the morning, June 1st, 2023. Hey, why did I leave Quesnel yesterday after about a month being there? Well, because I didn't even go to Salvation Army for food. I just kind of kept driving. And it was during the time that it was open for that. Didn't stop for another shower or for the laundry. Uh, I just kept driving because my motorhome was working a bit better since I finished the last two spark plugs. Well, it's because I'm still in search of the elusive Homo sapien, and it's also because uh, the day before, was a final few drops for the cup to overfill. Like an extremely rude and disrespectful message from, I don't know if it's like an HR, the boss of HR, maybe at the school district, not sure, who had once sent me an email in February. I didn't know, way before I was in Quesnel, that they wouldn't pursue my application or whatever. And it's just me introducing myself in a previous email, saying I was on my way to the north, and I didn't remember that. But it was weird, kind of, you know, the interactions after going to the school board a few times and sending the documents. The first person I asked, and the second time, no follow up, and going a third time because the teacher says, "Yeah, we need people. You should go and follow up again." And so, you know, I mean, and it's stuff like this that makes me think, I'm on a black list of all sorts of things in BC or Canada to keep me from working, because I'm too competent. I don't know, or I'm too transparent in wanting to show my care and concern for the clientele I would serve. I don't know, transparently. But it could also be instead of a. I mean, I'm not saying that conspiracies against me don't exist. They exist. It's easy to point some out and get some documentation for it. But even those things fall under my theory of HSD. That just people complain about school districts, and including teachers, and they wish me well, but I mean, it's just the management is crappy. And then there's the pool, the rec department, or messages were never passed, or I don't, or maybe they were just not enough follow-ups. And I send my email, and I asked, well, is it possible that it went in junk mail? I'll talk to the guy in charge here. And finally, I talked to him. I said, I'm going to the pool now, but I'll talk to you after. And his office doors opened, so they said, yeah, you can go. He's in there. And he said, oh yeah, he saw my email. And he's walking to introduce me to the other office, the lady in charge, the rec manager. And I tell you, the number and intensity of red flags interacting with her. And again, this is not specific to me, because anybody else that would talk with such confidence and explain things and talk about programs that are important, and just the way kind of she's, people aren't even able to look me in the eye. They're trying to multitask. I'm like, I stopped talking. And she said, she says, I was looking at your documents right now. Well, it's not the right time to look at my documents. And she said she sent me an email to meet maybe next week to discuss, my programs. And it's not even true. Like I went back later. I said, yeah, no, I didn't see your emails, and I was here checking my emails. And I go back and I don't see an email from her. And that's what she told her boss. She sent me an email when he said follow up with him. But even if, let's say, she sent an email or she got the address wrong, or whatever, like, there's so many ridiculous things that I could tell the incompetence and the favoritism of just wanting to deal with the same instructor she always has, and not offer anything new. And she's bragging, "Oh yeah, we prepare things a year in advance, you know. So if you want to offer something next year, you have to, send me." Oh my God, they so don't serve their own clientele. They so serve themselves, and they look at me like, Again, I explain what life skills are, and again, she's thinking they don't need that. You know, oh man, it's also, tried multiple friendships and nothing happens, or the couldn't find anybody that I would want to try to be romantically involved. Just other jobs too. I mean, some of them might email me now because I applied last minute, but I just left. So when it comes to friendships, romance, work, housing, even parents, again, saying, one lady at a place where I took showers at the shelter, she says her kids have particular diagnoses, and she says she pays $50 an hour for this place that is kind of a high-end franchise tutoring place, and they charge $50 an hour. And if the kids don't go or don't show up or cancel or whatever, or at the last minute, they still charge a $50. I said, I'll charge you half, but I'll give you a free one at first or whatever. And a free session where the mom has to be there so I could explain how I had success, and I guarantee so much more success than this $50 one where they just want to charge you for not showing up. That's what their tutoring business is, really. And again, this is a mom that won't follow up. This is somebody that won't do the right thing, just like teachers and medical professionals and parents. And they complain, but then they never follow up to serve themselves or their families or their communities, their own children. And, it's kind of just move, just keep moving. I spent the night here. I'm hearing a truck, it could be a towing, right? That is like pulling up and they're going to back up and pick me up. I'm at a place where, it says no overnight camping or whatever. But, if somebody would knock on the window at night, if it's not a mosquito that comes really close to the ear, that wakes you really like startled. That happened to me, falling asleep the day before. And, I'd have to hurry up and turn on the engine, whatever. I mean, they're not supposed to try to tow somebody without checking to see if somebody's in it, but it could be their threatening way to have fun and piss off people, not to spend another night here, although this is my only night and I'm going to move on. Now, I don't know what my budget is. I don't know where I'm going. I know I don't have enough fuel to go to, let's say, the next place. My budget is too low. But I left a place where I had free food. I knew where the showers were, for free, if not paid the discount ones at the pool. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. The same old faces that are kind of nice but kind of fake, and they can make little conversation and they can talk about themselves but don't ask about me. It's same old, same old. So what I'm looking forward to right now is maybe finding one BC Parks campground that has showers, because I haven't showered in 3 days, where I can just relax and clean the motorhome and read some books and just kind of decide my next steps and leave that campground maybe 2-3 times for laundry and for really well planned internet chores when I leave there a few times just to minimize my gas. Yesterday I asked a staff that I see from BC Parks, a young lady who was very helpful, and they need a host there that night, which is not a campground, it's just a day use place. They need one even after they close the gate, a host to make sure nobody tries to get in at night. I said, well, yeah, I could stay here one night, and then your bosses, who usually interview at this place for all the different locations, some are really far away that they have the contract for, to come meet me tomorrow, and they wouldn't do that. So I just left. I mean, they might hire me for there, or which is not a job, it's just a free place. But I saw down that long road of 12 kilometers, there's also a kennel, there's also an equine place that looks good, and there's an astronomy observatory, supposedly. But when I already explain myself, my situation, give a resume, and the young lady interacts on the phone with the boss, and they say, just send me an email, and then they'll send me other forms maybe to fill out. By that time you lose me because I can communicate at human level. And I said, did they know that I'm, a more mature candidate, and it's easy to communicate with me and get a commitment out of me, and do they know, that I'm like that, an adult, right? And so, I mean, if, I will send them an email, but I'll send an email to somebody else that has contracts in another territory and maybe is getting more and more. Maybe is a better contractor. I don't know. Young lady said they're really good like that, like she says. But a lot of people say that about their bosses. If you talk to them more, then you'll find out a lot of the times the employers aren't great. It's just people have lowered their standards and they need to say good things once in a while so they justify their choice of work. And it's not they don't like the work or where they go for the work. It's sometimes the interactions. Now, of course, that BC Parks contractor had just probably done a lot of interviews, so they're not too sure which one they're hiring for. So they could, in 2, 3 days after I send this email today, the next place I see internet, because at the McDonald's yesterday, and it was like, I wanted to leave Prince George right away as soon as I'm passing through it. And just, the BCA service was crappy as usual, and people multitasking, and people coming to help. And then they're multitasking, they're going to help somebody else. It's like, oh man, it's like, this is horrible service. People are managers because they have the goal to multitask poorly, and that's how they become managers. I don't know. Anyway, but the McDonald's, like the clientele in there, was very sad. The young man who's missing fingers, who sits at other people's tables after they leave without putting their food trash away, just in case there's food there. But also, it made him feel good that maybe this is him as a customer. I don't know. He didn't talk to me. I would have talked to him if he talked to me. But also the staff, mostly Filipino or East Indian there, and again, I mean, it was a fresh 2 patties of fillet of fish, but not extra cooked like I wanted. And of course, the bread is still like cold and not cooked in any way, really. It just kind of painted cooked. And then the fries were not cooked more. They seem to be cooked less. Seems McDonald's cooking their fries less and less now. They're still more white than a little bit brown. And I said at the end, by the way, it wasn't like I asked, and I was missing the chicken sauce. So somebody that's off on a break went and got him for me when she was on her phone. She was trying to give me directions for things. She was new there too, but not very good at using her phone, right? People, primates, have a phone. They're shocked I don't have one, but they're not even that good at using their phone. I have to teach them how to do it. And this is everywhere. This is your species. So that's why just a campground right now where I can just, pretend there's no failed species around me too much that I share DNA with would be nice. But I'm going to email those two uh, service providers for the campgrounds that are BC Park. And I still don't want to pay a place where, I might stop at a place and they might need help there, but they still want to charge me a full price, super big price for things, that I don't even use, like, sewer hookup or whatever. I don't need water right now. Just want to take a shower and not feel robbed for one night and have a good night's sleep. But it could be a time when, their regulars have a party or allowed, and it's okay because they're friendly with but they don't mind that they charge me a lot for a night's sleep that is compromised because that's business or that's normal for them. Now, that didn't happen, but it's happened to me before, and it was likely to happen if I did, and I don't need that, right? Sometimes I need to minimize my triggers. And that's what my day's going to be, going into the unknown with a limited budget that it definitely isn't going to last very long because this is a 5-week month where I still had to fix a lot of things on my motorhome. I don't know if it recorded. My button's not working. The phone got weird today. It's a bit cold.